Hey everyone, this is Mike with my review of the 7th Citadel, and disclaimer that I was sent a review copy of this one. 7th Citadel is a 1 to 4 player cooperative game where you engage in adventures called threats. These booklets will walk you through scenarios connected together in campaigns of 8 to 10 scenarios or so, where you'll be walking around locations that are all card based and exploring them, uncovering fog to discover new places to explore, and having encounters both deadly and exciting along the way. You'll use an action deck that doubles as your stamina, both to find out if you succeed at checks by using these stars, but you can also use them for bonuses and special effects during skill checks. And as you advance through the threat campaigns, you'll be upgrading your civilization, constructing buildings that give you bonuses, and seeing if you can uncover the mysteries of whichever threat you choose to attempt. So let's discuss 5 key things about the 7th Citadel, and at the end of the video, I'll have a bonus look at how this game compares to the original 7th continent that it's a sequel to. For my number 5 point, I'm looking at the world building and story in the game, and for my taste, this is a pro. This is basically a post-apocalyptic fantasy land that you're exploring, and you kind of know with this basic map the gist of where things are, but as you explore, you'll see how the land has changed in the apocalyptic events that have happened. And the main story you'll discover is told through the threat book and the dialogue book, where you'll talk to people, get side quests, complete different objectives, and answer more mysteries of what's going on in this world. I find it well written and exciting. It actually gives me a lot of Fallout vibes, even though it's a more fantasy than futuristic setting. But one caveat to be aware of, sometimes you'll be looking at the dialogue boxes fairly frequently in some sections of the quest, and people who don't want to turn to a book every once in a while might want to just focus on the gameplay and might be annoyed by it. My number 4 point is focused on the threats, the campaigns in the game. So you always play a new beginning whenever you start a campaign, which could get a little repetitive, although it is pretty quick and fun. But then you branch off into one of 2 campaigns in the core game, and they have an expansion campaign as well. And for my taste, these are great. As I said, the story is cool, the objectives are quite varied. The campaigns tend to send you in different directions with each mission, and then sometimes you have more freedom in which way you want to go. And they do really cool things to reduce repetition and grind, like giving you quick travel points you can start at, letting you fast travel back to home when you finish. Now, a caveat for this, while there is some branching in the campaigns, at least the one that I've played to completion, Dr. Cham's Awakening, a lot of it is pretty linear, so once you play through an entire threat, I'm not sure if you'd want to play it again. So only having 2 core ones in the main box might seem a little limited, although just this one took me 10 to 15 hours, so you're looking at, even without the expansion, 20 to 30 hours of gameplay easily. But otherwise, I like the structure. I like how they take the open world exploration and give you kind of bite-sized pieces and goals to chase after. I think it's great. And connected to the threat, something that I adore in this game is the upgrade system, and there's so many upgrades here. So first of all, you'll be upgrading the basic statistics of your civilization, which will give you lots of bonuses and let you unlock more things as you explore. You'll also be following this destiny board and unlocking tons of stuff here, and you can never get to all of it, and there's like cool little ultra bonuses to shoot for if you go down certain paths. You get to scout out more of the map and get bonuses for doing so as you discover things. And there's the buildings I mentioned, and they give you really cool things to strive for. And then also your action deck, kind of the core mechanic of the game, lets you upgrade into advanced actions and reflex actions, and you can even call cards out of your deck as you go along. And you get a lot of these if you do well. Now that's the one potential complaint here. This is a bit of a rich get richer problem, where if you succeed in missions, you'll get better things to help you succeed in the next one. But besides that minor concern, I love the growth in this game, the feeling of going from 0 to hero, and feeling like you're conquering your post-apocalyptic domain. And the allies you can make, and the equipment you can find, it's just great. My number 2 point is focused on the most important mechanical thing in the game, which are the action tests. And this is, for me, an inherently tense and exciting system, because you can generally draw as many cards as you want, but those are all discarded, so you are closer to getting tired out, closer to having to use your life to restore your cards. By the way, I didn't mention that in the overview. You have a life total, and you'll take damage from enemies, but you can also spend this to get your cards back and kind of refresh your deck. So yeah, deciding how many cards to go for, how much you care about each given test, and then using those cards for their cool abilities, especially as you customize your deck with the growth options I mentioned. It's, for me, a consistently interesting action resolution system, right up there with some of the best in the business, at least for my taste. And that takes me to my number 1, and yes, this is a Pro 2 for me. This is the rare all-Pro game, at least for my taste, and that's the exploration in the game. I loved this in Seventh Continent. I love it here. The card-based system, getting to go to new places and see what's there, uncovering the randomized things that change from game to game, and the things that stay the same. Each card, each room, each area is a new little treasure box of dangers and excitement, terrible things happening to you, and wonderful things. Now, I guess that's the potential negative. Sometimes things are horrific and you just keep on getting bad luck left and right. But usually you have like warnings and things to help you. But I just love this system. Even shuffling through and dealing with all of these cards and putting them back when you're done an adventure, which could be another caveat for people, it doesn't bother me that much because the rewards of feeling like I'm exploring a strange new world, whether it's solo or co-op. Co-op has great cooperation between people and you can kind of like make things easier to discover for each other and help each other out. I think it's great. My favorite part of the game, and it makes it one of the best adventure experiences out there for my taste. So overall, if you can't tell, I am absolutely gaga for the 7th Citadel. This combined with Agamonia makes this maybe the best year of adventure gaming for my taste ever. You might like this one if you like exploration games, adventure games. I don't know. If you like any of the stuff I said, I think this could be a winner for you. On the other hand, you might want to avoid it if any of my caveats bother you, like having to put cards away or having to read sometimes, that sort of thing. And let's get to my additional little section, comparing this to the 7th Continent, the game this is a sequel to. And for my taste, as much as I love 7th Continent, this is kind of better in every way that bothered me about the original. So the original one had a lot of grinding for food, kind of grinding to hunt and stuff. All that is gone here. You just get an allotment of life, so it's kind of more of a strict timer on your missions. This one is also less open-ended, less kind of just, wander around and hope you find stuff. It's much more directed, for better or worse. This one does feel more linear. It does feel like what you're supposed to do is a lot more obvious. I was trying to think of a good video game comparison, and I'd say if 7th Continent is Dark Souls, or like the Souls series, where you don't really know what you're doing half the time, you don't really know what's going on with the story, you wander into places and die, then 7th Citadel is more like, I don't know, Fallout 3 if you mainly focus on the main missions, where like you kind of have an idea of what your next stop is, and yes, you could get distracted along the way, but if you keep on going there, you're going to advance the story. But yeah, I like everything that 7th Citadel adds to the original formula. I like the town phase and like building up stuff. I like how you level up consistently. I like that you have more of a clear goal for each step along the way. I like that you can play the game in really nice like hour-long chunks and complete something meaningful, whereas in 7th Continent, you just might wander around for an hour and then have to save the game again. It's also less deadly. The easy mode doesn't require you to like come back to life when you die. It just makes you be able to rest more effectively. Now, there are things missing from 7th Continent. You can't just kind of like explore as much as you want. It does feel, again, a bit more linear, a bit more on the rails. You don't have the inventing items from your hand mechanic that was in 7th Continent, although they have simplified the inventory system greatly, so I don't really miss it that much. And the checks are slightly different. 7th Continent often limited the number of cards you could draw. In this one, you can draw as many cards as you want, but you can only keep a certain number. So it kind of works out to be about the same thing. But this one adds in this interesting icon system that will like trigger with your skills and things. So I think it's a bit crunchier. It makes your characters feel a bit more unique, and I like it more overall than 7th Continent system. So 7th Continent might still be the winner for those who, first of all, don't want to read a dialogue book and want to focus more on like the cards and gameplay. And also for those who want to just kind of wander around open world style. For those who want a tougher game, I do think 7th Citadel seems a little bit easier and friendlier to the player so far. But apart from those preferences, for me, 7th Citadel all the way. I love 7th Continent, but this one is one of my favorite games of the year easily. And already I think I'm going to enjoy it more than I ever did for 7th Continent. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the review, and we'll see you at the next stop.